Hello y'all, this is Fish Demon. I'm going to go ahead and make a video here telling y'all a little about my swap, converting a 97 Dodge Ram 1500 with a Chrysler 9 1/4 rear end over to a 2500 Dana 60 full float rear end. And I'll just tell you all a little bit about that swap, just in case you guys decide that you want to go ahead and attempt the same thing. Of course, this is a second generation Dodge Ram. The first generation and third generation are different. So this rear end you're looking at here is a Dana 60 out of a 96 Dodge Ram 2500. This is actually the one that I have ready to go to put under my truck. This was it as it resided in the old truck from the local You Pull It Auto Parts. Let me go ahead and give you all the briefing here. Let's see here. Now the stock axle, I have a picture of it here somewhere. Here it is. This is the stock axle that is currently in the truck, because I haven't switched it yet, but I got it all ready to go. This is a Chrysler 9 1/4. What we'll be modifying here to make the other axle, the D60, fit in here would be modifying the spring perches, the shock mounts, and that's pretty much it for the most part, besides the yoke on the U-joint yoke, pinion yoke. That's the 9 1/4. We're going to make the stock 96 D60 fit the previous dimensions, and I'll give you all the dimensions and everything, so y'all can be prepared for those dimensions. You're going to want to go ahead and stick with the second generation of axles, because if you go with the first generation, you're going to have something like this, which is a first generation rear D60. I do believe that, as you can see here, these shock mounts are different. I'm sure you can modify it and all that, but it's just, in my opinion, a little bit easier just to go ahead and stick with the second generation. Keep as much the same as you possibly can. This particular generation, I do believe can use a 15-inch rim, which is something that may be a benefit to some of y'all. So if y'all actually want to go ahead and use that one, I guess you could. That's not what I did. So let's see here. I'm going to give you all the specifications like I was saying here. Let's find the other picture. Let's see here. Now this is once again another wrong axle to buy is this one here, which is actually a Dana 80. This is actually out of a 3500 Dodge Ram. You can see that it's got this extra ribbing here that the D60 doesn't have. This extra ribbing here will identify either a Dana 70U in a Dodge or a Dana 80 in a Dodge. So that's not the one that I wanted. If you all want it, that's fine. When you go ahead and first pick up your D60 from the junkyard or wherever you get it, it's going to have these 3-inch spring perches, which is not correct. You're going to have to go ahead and switch those out to 2.5 perches, or possibly you could go ahead and take the springs and the leaf springs and the rear spring mounts off of the donor truck, possibly use that. I didn't bother exploring into that. I wanted to go ahead and keep the 2.5 2.5-inch leaf spring for a little bit softer ride, more availability in my opinion, and you know, more parts availability for a 1500 in my opinion. Something else you'll notice here is that the Dana 60 for my 96 2500 actually uses a 1410 series yoke, pinion yoke. Presently my Dodge Ram is running a 7290 series U-joint. I'm actually going to go ahead and purchase a new yoke and go ahead and swap over to the 7290 U-joint, which is only a slightly bit smaller, but I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have both my front and rear drive shafts using the exact same series of yoke. I'm going to upgrade the front to a Dana 60 also, which will bolt in pretty much stock, but that's a completely different subject. This is just about the rear. Let me go ahead and show y'all some more stuff here. Now the 96 2500 axle D60 is right here. As you can see, the shock mounts stick out incredibly low. Much different than Dana 70U, Dana 80, D60. This, I guess, it just comes with shock mounts like that. They didn't want to save money, I guess, and just put in a longer shock instead of retooling the equipment. Don't know, but it is a lot different. It's just longer. You have to buy a longer shock. My particular interest was to make everything to 1500 specifications. That way, if I wanted to do a lift kit or something, I would just do a drop-in 1500 lift kit. So in any case, here is Mopar rear axles spotter's guide. As you can see here, this is something that you can find on the internet, and you can reference that yourself. Here is the finished axle. This already has new spring perches welded onto it. Those particular perches are from Ballistic Fabrication, trademark. I do have the shock mounts. Those are the stock shock mounts that were just cut off and actually just rotated upwards. They don't need to go inboard or outboard at all. They're actually in the proper alignment. They just need to be rotated upwards to the correct, to the same degree and measurement of the 1500 9.25 axle. So this is a completely custom axle. There's no factory ones that were made like this. So that's finished. Let me give you all some of the measurements here. What I did is I got the WMS, the wheel mating surface, which is, we know, the mating surface to where the tire bolts onto, you know, and the lug nuts pop out. The WMS to the perch center. That's the measurements that I used from the 9.25 and applied them over to the D60 and made it to those specifications. So the specification for the perch center of the D60 is going to be 31 centimeters from WMS to perch center, and that's what's been done here, 31 centimeters. The axle tube on the D60 and the 9.25 is I believe it's a 3.5 inch, it's what from memory, 3.5 inch tube, and on both axles. The 9.25 tapers down, the D60 does not, and so these particular perches are 2.5 by 3.5 tube, welded on by me. Let me go ahead and give you all some more info here. The shock mount is what this picture is for, shock mount being down there. That particular specification there, it comes in at, well, like I said, it was going to be the same, but from WMS to shock center is 20.25, and I do believe that's inches. So that's what that's going to be. And you just go ahead and, like I said, it's in the right spot already. You just got to rotate it upwards and weld it in the new position. Other than that, it's once you get this particular items done, you do have a bolt-in axle besides the yoke. Once you put the yoke on there, you'll be good to go. This particular axle uses a 16-inch minimum wheel diameter, and it's something that y'all can give a try. I mean, I want to go ahead and put mine with a matching front D60. The stock U-bolts will actually bolt right in. These U-bolts and bottom plate. The bottom plate is not welded onto the axle, it's just clamped on there by the U-bolts. These U-bolts and bottom plates are swappable and will swap right over and work perfectly. I went ahead and bought a new top plate to convert it to, that goes on top of the leaf spring to convert it to old-fashioned U-bolt style. I'll be picking up some U-bolts here shortly, the proper length and 3.5-inch axle tube, and I'll be utilizing that particular setup. But if you want, you can go ahead and reuse the old U-bolts and plate. More specifically, you can reuse the same plate. You're never supposed to reuse U-bolts or square bolts in this particular case. So that's it, guys. If you have any questions, just go ahead and leave me a message, and I'll do what I can to go ahead and answer you with any questions on this swap. Thanks.